afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge. You can find us on IC Radio. That's in Christ Radio. We are your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, a couple different ways. Channel 182 on Charter Communications, and that's in North Alabama. You can also find us worldwide. We're syndicated on Abundance TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. My name is Donna Fiesel. We're on The Edge Studios right here at the Fiesel Farm on 38 acres and Donna Nail Drive. So we appreciate you listening to us again all the time. All the time. I'm just going to point ahead and get started because this place really is I don't know, it's a help to the community, a huge help to the community. And I really love what these folks do right here. I've got Justin Helton with me. He's the Parenthood Director. Is that right, Justin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, with Family Services of North Alabama. And I wanted to mention this. This is just a little bit of info I want to give Justin. Sherry Height was the very first guest I had when we became syndicated on Abundant TV.
Wow. I did not know that.
What you do is you pick on your friends. So I thought Sherry will be a good one to start with. We're friends. If I mess up, it won't matter with her.
That's right. Well, if you can't pick on your friends, you can.
Pick on your friends. So, but anyway, she's just an awesome lady. I love Sherry. And for her love of the community and the love of people, very people person oriented. So, and I appreciate that. You guys do so many things in the community that people aren't aware of, and they got to know about it. So if you are listening to us and you're from any of the other 50 states in the United States and you're thinking about moving to North Alabama, move here. We'll take good care of you. Right,
Yes.
Justin?
That's it. We'll get you taken care of.
Absolutely. Now let's talk a little bit about your role. What do you do there?
So my role specifically is, as you said, I'm the Parenthood Director for Marshall County. So what that boils down to is a couple of different things. Obviously, a large part of that is I teach parenting classes based on a couple of different curriculum because, like we're all aware, the hospital doesn't send you home with a manual. And if you're like me, when I brought home my firstborn, it's almost kind of jarring. Here, I remember the first drive when you have that little one in the back seat, and you're barely stepping on the gas. You're going 5 miles an hour in a 65, and maybe in some ways it gets a little better, but kind of maybe for the whole adolescence, you're just trying so hard not to mess up, and so we try to come alongside parents and just give them some tools, right? No, there's no, I never claimed for there to be a one-size-fits-all technique, as we are all aware. Every child is different. They have their own quirks, their own behavior, personalities. So what we try to do in the parenting is just give parents some tools, just give them some more ability to navigate some of those struggles of raising a teenager. My goodness, I got to be a youth pastor for a few years, and so I always empathize with parents of teenagers. It's a task, yeah.
Really, I remember when I brought my son home. The first thing I said, I laid him in his bed, and I said, "God, I don't want to break it." I was so afraid I'd hurt him accidentally. He made it.
And he did. Well, it's like the first, for me, first 2 weeks, anytime you lay him down to go to sleep, you still can't sleep because you're like watching them. Are they still breathing? Is their chest still moving up and down? But it is the things nobody tells you about before you get them home. That your mind just never turns off after that. And so we want to help the community in that way, help parents have a little bit of better understanding of how to help their kids grow and not just make it to 18, but to be ready for 18 and do what we can. The other side of what we do is our workforce development program. And so that is helping mothers, fathers, and even if you're not a mother or father, there might be some of your listeners thinking, I don't have any kids. What does that mean for me? We also have some finances available for those people receiving SNAP benefits, so we're able to help them as well. Get into a career field. Sometimes you take a job just because you need a 9 to 5, and there doesn't seem to be an easy way out, right? You want to get a certification, maybe welding, maybe drive an 18 wheeler, whatever the case may be, maybe go into nursing, or nursing assistant, I should say. But sometimes those certifications are just pricey. There's just too many zeros attached to them. And so we work with the state to try to help get parents and adults on SNAP benefits to have some financial relief to get where they want to go and pick a career path without the dollar signs being a limiting factor.
You got that right, Justin. And those are high paying jobs. I'm telling you,
Yes,
you get some, yeah, and save up your money. And do you also teach finance classes? Because that doesn't come with a manual either when you're born. So
yeah,
sometimes
that
you just
is
need a little
true.
help.
Say that last part. I'm sorry.
Sometimes you just need a little help on guidance on how do you save your money.
Yeah, yeah, and so we are able to teach some finance classes, teaching how to budget, teach you how to even prioritize money. Because how many know when you were 19, 20, I had no idea what a budget was, much less how to use it. And so we do allow, with that, because the famous phrase goes, more money, more problems. And so we do try to come alongside as they're getting those career fields and trying to step into a better life for their family, to give them also the tools to know what to do with that money, what to do with this newfound sense of income, so it doesn't disappear in Netflix subscriptions and too many trips to Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Or maybe, sometimes you hang out with the wrong crowd and maybe those buddies see you got some extra money and start hanging around spending your money. Sometimes you got to
You
learn
are,
how to say no. So just
that's
got to
right.
learn how to say no.
That's a tough word. Well, not my 2-year-old has learned that word very well, but for a lot of us, no
Okay.
is a hard word.
That's true. That's true. Okay, let's talk about how you help folks with certifications. I mean, this can really help people get a hands up and get out of a mess that they may have got themselves into. So how does
Right.
this work?
So what we try to do, we're funded by the Children's Trust Fund of Alabama. So the whole goal of their grant is to try to prevent and ultimately end childhood abuse and neglect. And so what we really love to do first off is to get people into those parenting classes and develop some of those critical skills for raising a stronger family, for developing some resilience, because everybody goes through hard times. The rain falls on the just and the unjust, and so the first thing we want to do is get them in and give them some ability to get a foothold in what's going on in their family and in their house. And once we've kind of, we met for a few weeks. It's a 12-week program, but once we've kind of developed a relationship and you kind of know us well, we know you, we try to start shifting into that workforce development. And once we're there, normally maybe 9 weeks, 10 weeks into the classes, we have a good understanding of where they want to go, where they want their family to be. We have a good vision of what the end goal is. And then once we know that, it's just really getting the right steps in and getting them connected to the right people to be able to follow those dreams and those passions. So they'll come in, they'll start parenting classes with us. Once we've kind of established a rapport and a good working relationship, we'll start asking some of those questions, those more career-minded questions of, what do you do for work? What's something you want to do for work? And then try to go about answering and getting through some of those hoops. And if you're like somebody out there who go, I don't know what I want to do, I just know it's not this. We also offer skills assessments to try to find out what you're good at, what you have a natural passion for. And then sometimes just having that answer helps clarify some things of what a good career path would be. And once we're there, it's kind of the bread and butter from that point on, because once you've bought in and you realize that this is attainable and this dream is within your reach, I mean, there's not much motivation left have to be put in, because it's when you give people the opportunity, you let them know somebody's on their side and on their team and wanting to see their family succeed. It's just an awesome feeling from that point, getting to watch them walk into their dream.
Oh, I think so too. And because technology, there are women who have jobs used to be only for guys. Only y'all carried the torch on some of the jobs, like your welding jobs. I know some really good women who are welders. One of mine is a friend in Anniston, and she went to Air State Technical College, took welding. Her dad owned the welding company. So
Hmm.
none of his sons were interested in running the business, but Sherry was. And her name is Sherry Cagle. And so Sherry runs it, and it's a very successful business as well. But see, this is outside, you would have never thought a woman could handle what she handles. But because of today's technology, she makes it happen.
I love it. I love it. Like you said, the modern world we live in, so many things have become accessible that maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago might not have been the case. And I love what you said. Anybody with a dream and a passion, we have the technology these days and the resources. Uh, you should be able to do it. You should be able to follow whatever your desire is and your passion.
And sometimes, all you have to do, Justin, is just think outside the box. I know women, I'm one of them. I'm a welder and I'm a metal worker. And so I make jewelry. And so you just have to
Wow.
think outside that box. What can I do? Because I like working with my hands, and I know a lot of people do. There's a show I love to watch. It comes on PBS, and it's called This Old House. And I really love this show because this old house, they're beginning to feature younger people who are taking some of these technical jobs, carpentry and HVAC and all those things, and they're making a nice living with no college debt. And I think that's awesome. You don't have that behind you got to worry about. You just do your job, and there's your family taken care of.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's I mean, correct me if you feel I'm wrong, Miss Donna, but I feel like probably in the last 12 to 15 years, we've really seen a transformation of mindsets as far as what the avenues are for providing a healthy living for our household. Because at least when I was in school, it pretty much the push was toward a collegiate career, a collegiate study. And whereas now, we live, I think 2020 taught us that, we very much have access to a gig economy, a tradesman economy, if you will. And so sometimes, like you said, getting those certifications can be a life change. And of course, we at Family Services and in the workforce, if we can do anything to help and even relieve the price for getting in those classes and getting that certificate, well, you already said it best. Not only do you have those college loans not to worry about, but now you've got somebody on your side to help you through just playing for the certifications.
You got it. See, when I grew up, my dad was a tradesman too. And so, I mean, we were not millionaires, but I remember going to school, and this is back in the 60s and 70s. I remember going to school where people, they would say, we're not, we just, eat beans and potatoes for supper. What We were not millionaires, but I mean, we had what we needed. I mean,
Right.
we never had to worry paycheck to paycheck or anything like that. And so my dad said, well, this is just what I like doing, and so you put forth this big effort. And let's talk about this a little bit too, because sometimes people, they'll start out this job, and they want to start at the top, and you can't start at the top. You got to know everything. You got to know the best bosses I ever had were the ones who started at the bottom and worked their way up to the top because they knew the industry. They knew it inside and out. So, do you guys help folks with job interviews just to make sure they don't put their foot in their mouth and say the wrong thing accidentally?
You bring up a great point. I probably should have done a little better due diligence in the beginning with this, but we do. We help prepare people really in every aspect of the job field. So
Mhm.
resume building, because if
Oh,
you're if
that's
you're like
crucial.
if you're like me, a lot of these what should we say programs, such as Indeed or Jobzilla or stuff like these job boards online. A lot of times, employers have used those to replace uh, physically reading through hundreds of resumes, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
use these job boards to field, like look for these special buzzwords or look for these specific industry related phrases, and that's what picks them up. And I've dealt with quite a few people that they have incredible job history, right? They've done so many great things, but getting it into that verbiage that the
Yeah.
current industry is looking for is a task in and of itself. And so we also help try to get their experience and put it and phrase it in a way that makes them more marketable to their desired.
Absolutely.
field. And then likewise, what we call interview etiquette, right? So if you're going to a Fortune 500 company interview, jeans and a sweatshirt is probably not the move. We teach things that what growing up, you would think maybe we'd learn somewhere down the pipeline of education, but so many people are such great people and they have such great work ethic, and all we do is try to teach them both the words on paper and in the interview room of how to make sure that their abilities and their already natural characteristics have the ability to shine, so the employer can see the kind of person they're working with.
I mean, well put, very well put, Justin. And another thing I've thought about too is a lot of people don't want to brag on themselves. So they think they're doing the wrong thing. This is the time to shine, isn't it? This is the time to tell everybody what you can do.
Well, this is it. This is the moment. This is your time. Like you're in front of the interviewer, the employer, and they are trying to figure out, obviously, on a technical level, do you have the ability to do the job set before you? But two, they're trying to figure out if you're somebody that's going to be a good part of their team. And so I certainly understand, right? It never feels comfortable bragging on yourself. I don't personally like when other people brag on me, but it's one of those moments that it's a very special window of time in our society where it is your moment to bring out every gold star you've ever had and make sure they're aware of not only your capability to do the job, but your personality, that you are somebody that can work as a team, that can work with them, and somebody that they'll enjoy being around.
You are absolutely right. Justin, we've got to go into a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a few minutes. We'll be hearing from Rhonda, Rhonda's Elite Tax Service.
Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel it works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. Mexican restaurant located in Panama and voted best Mexican restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020. We're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to limonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lemons you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lemons Mexican Restaurant. Begin a great year and save big money with these specials at Albertville Food Plus. A 5-pound bag of red or gold potatoes only $2.99 each. Warm up with Campbell's Chunky Soup, 2 for $4. Slim down with Gold Salad, only $2.99 each. And make sure to check out the deli with fresh veggies and tasty pork chops or hand-battered chicken fingers, only $5.99. Check us out on the web at shop.foodlandgrocery.com.
We're back. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge. Thank you again so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central. As I get to ride home with you in the afternoon, so many ways you can listen to us. You can't get away from us if you try. That's just the way it is. You can find us on channel 182 on Charter Communications, which is in North Alabama. And then we're syndicated worldwide. You can also find us on Abundance TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. So many different ways you can find us. You know why you want to watch this show? Because we have awesome guests. And I got one with me right now. He's from Family Services of North Alabama. And this is Justin Helton. And Justin is the Parenthood Director there. Now, Justin, I told you how it was going to be. Time's going to fly, and we're not going to get to say everything that we want to. Already over half the show is over. And another some things you want to talk about. One of those things is an event coming up. And is that tomorrow?
It is, yeah, it's tomorrow.
All right.
So,
I had it on. It's Fort Payne Goes Blue. So let's talk about that. What's that about?
yeah, so we are very excited. We're very honored that Fort Payne and the leaders of Fort Payne have decided to partner with us in what we call Go Blue Day. And so it is actually a national recognized day, and it is simply just raising awareness for human trafficking. And for many of us, myself included, until I was able to join up with Family Services and get involved here, whenever I think, and I think many people think of human trafficking, we think of the Hollywood TV shows, the Hollywood movies Taken. We think of these big drastic scenarios. And while that certainly is a part of it, human trafficking is all around us. Right here in Marshall County, we do unfortunately have sometimes a quite of a significant drug problem, and most of the time, anytime you see that a very big drug problem, human trafficking is going to be right there with it. And so all of Go Blue Day is in Fort Payne is we're going to spend time talking about not only the agency and the services that we have to offer for those that may have been victims of human trafficking, but also how to spot the signs, right? Because many times we look for the big neon red signs, so to speak, but in reality, a lot of times you see it. I'm sure you're aware in your area of the neighborhood that many times it's mothers and fathers who are hung up on whatever their hang up is, and they have no money to get their next fix. We'll put it like that. And sometimes all logic goes out the window, all rationality goes out the window, and they end up putting their own family, their own children sometimes in these terrible situations to get money, just to get the next fix. And the whole goal is to raise awareness that as a community, we need to come together and have a open eye to the vulnerable of this community in this region. And of course, we've also this year launched the North Alabama Human Trafficking Task Force. And so this Go Blue Day is actually an event on behalf of that task force, just to end it, right? There's we think of slavery in a sense of, we think of the 1800s with Abraham Lincoln and before that, but there are millions still today in human slavery in the form of human trafficking. And not only sexual trafficking, but labor trafficking. You have those that come from a different country or leave their home to find a new life and a better life here in America. And unfortunately, we have people that want to take advantage of that. And they bring them far from their families, far from their homes, and then exploit that vulnerability and have them working on a cargo ship in the middle of the ocean for next to nothing, or working in a field for next to no pay with no way out. And really the whole point of the task force and even Go Blue Day is to say as a community that we believe that no one should have that kind of vulnerability exploited. Nobody should have their existence wasted for somebody else's what should I say? Somebody else's exploitation, somebody else's, I'm trying to think of the word, somebody else to capitalize on. Let's put it like that.
Right. And so much of that is happening. And like you just mentioned, you just made so many great points there, Justin, where, what we just think about is happening in New York, or is happening in Chicago. I-59, you've got I-59 right in Fort Payne, which is kind of halfway between, a little bit closer to Chattanooga, but you got Chattanooga on one side, and then you have Birmingham on the other side, where people are being trafficked through that area right there. And sometimes they make a stop in our county.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to be aware, and we also have to be aware of our children and their whereabouts. Sometimes folks let their kids grow up just a bit too fast. Let them be kids and be aware of where they are at all times. This is not like it was back in the 60s. Even then we had some times, but what I mean is it's not the time. Turn them loose at the mall. I mean, be aware of where your kids are. Be nosy.
I like it. I like it. We are very sometimes to our detriment, blissfully unaware of sometimes the dangers around us. And going back, maybe to bring it full circle with the parenting, it is our responsibility, right? As you said, to know what our kids are up to, know who they're with, know what they're doing, and the best thing we can do is to be aware, is to know that, I'm sure, it takes a village. And so we use that phrase, and there's plenty of people in my life that I know love my kids and have their best interests at heart, but it's still my responsibility to know that they're safe, to know who they're around, and to save them from whatever trauma may be hiding.
That's true. My son now is 43 years old. He was not my friend when he was growing up. I was the mother. He was the son. He was the child. Now we're the best friends.
Yeah.
Like we talk to each other frequently and all this kind of stuff, but not then. I had to be the controlling factor over him. And I wanted to ask you a question too, Justin. Is it okay to be a nosy parent?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I was a nosy parent.
Well, I mean, the thing is, so I'm one of 6 siblings. And so most of us are grown up out of the house, have our own families. But I do have a youngest sister that is, she's got a bad case of senioritis, right? She is knocking at the door to that college. And so as she gets close to 19, as many of our parents listening will understand, 19 is not an easy age for any parent I've ever met. Because as a teenager, right, 19, you feel like you're an adult. It's time for you to be free. But I still need mom and dad for just about everything.
For money.
Yeah, exactly. And so I would say, anyway, to finish that story. So I was talking to my youngest sister, and she's close enough to 19 that she's starting to feel that, taste of freedom, but still not quite understand the sense of transparency she still has to give to our parents. And I told her that, and I'm going to share this advice with you and your listeners, is that these boundaries that as parents we are really called to set up for our kids is to help them mature, right? We see no as a punishment, right? No, you can't go here. No, you can't do that. No, you can't leave and go to a friend's house at 2 a.m. But in reality, as we grow up and mature, we realize that these boundaries our parents put in place are to protect us from things that can't be undone, from being in
predators out there who want to destroy you. That's just how it is. Justin, we have about 45 seconds. I told you it'd fly by. What do you want to tell everybody before you go? You need an hour, guy.
What I would want to tell you, listeners, is one, you can find us on Facebook, online, and just really know, as you said a moment ago, one, how thankful we are for you, Miss Donna, to let us have this opportunity to come on here. But as you said about Sherry, I can say that about all of our team. We just want to help people. We want to help strengthen your family, help give you an opportunity to give the life for your kids that you want for them. And then secondly, like you said, maybe just a goodbye piece of wisdom. It is okay to be nosy. It is okay to feel like you are setting up maybe at times too many boundaries, but
you can't give too many. Nah.
But they're, like, as you said, they're first our kids. They're first our responsibility to keep safe. And so the more we can do that, the more awareness we can bring, we can only win. We can only get better from there.
That's true. Justin, thank you so much for being on the show today. You're my backup guy now, okay?
I appreciate it anytime.
All right. All right. Tell Sherry I said hello.
I will do it. Y'all have a great day.
And thank you for watching. We're going to have another awesome guest coming up in just a few minutes. So you hang in there. Bye, Justin.
Bye-bye.